This is Kevin Menton with Outside the Games. I am here at a facility in Monroe, Washington. This is a facility, Elite Training Academy. This is a 7-on-7 association that is actually here to train athletes, student athletes, and that is exactly what we're here talking to one of these student athletes here. We cover Washington, Oregon, California, of course, hashtag Student Athlete Strong. Welcome to Outside the Game Show. We appreciate you watching our show. We have a special guest. Yes, a special guest. This is Trey Lane. Trey, thank you so much for being on our show.
Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. Just to tell you that, first of all, this program is brought to you by Body Armor. Body Armor is about a better sports drink. It is packed in with a lot of electrolytes, potassium. These are things that are very essential to a student athlete, and so it's all about hydrating correctly. So again, this program is sponsored by Body Armor. Trey Lane is a student athlete that is a class of 2021.
Yes, sir.
He is at Monroe High School, and your position you play?
Slot receiver and defensive back.
Yeah, and he prefers the slot receiver side of things. So, well, Trey, we start out with family, okay? The reason we start out with family is because that's the pillars, right? That's the foundation of who you are, okay? Without those pillars, it's hard for things to kind of grow and, have some balance. What does family mean for you?
Family for me is people that you can rely on, kind of like a group of people that you can really rely on and be able to trust, be able to talk to anything about, and yeah.
And here's the thing about it too is both mom and dad, they play different roles, right, in an aspect of support, right? Tell me what your dad, him supporting you and being there for you, what is your dad, Terrence, what does he mean to you?
Oh, yes, sir. He means a lot to me. He's amazing. I mean, just the dedication he provides for me, being able to go to work at like 5 o'clock in the morning, come back at about 3 or 4, still be able to make every single practice. He's been to every single game ever since I've been 5, 6 years old. If it's football, basketball, track, anything. I mean, he's never missed a game and seldom misses a practice unless it's for work purposes.
You know what I think about, two words that pop out to me and stand out to me in this is commitment and sacrifice. Would you say that totally talks about Terrence? That's who he is.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Yeah, for you. Tell me a little bit about mom. How is mom?
Oh, mom, very caring and an understanding person. When I'm really busy with football, with school, having homework and having to watch film and other things like that, she's really understanding that I need to have that time, and then she can also help me in some cases with homework and things like that. She's being very understanding, and then when we are able to spend time together, it's great.
Yeah, and they provide different roles, right? They provide different things for you, so that's important. Yeah, family is interesting. It has its own dynamics, but it also has a way of keeping things together for you, right?
Yes,
as well. Let's talk about mentorship. With mentors, these are ones that provide some, we have the stability of parents, right? They have their roles that they each play, but there's something about mentors that come into play. When it comes to adversity and other things that mom and dad don't maybe see, you're at school, you're experiencing highs and lows of life, situations, your peers in high school, situations that may throw you off a little bit. So mentorship is these ones that provide that extra voice in a way of dealing with adversity and challenges. Tell me who your mentors are and why, Trey.
Definitely first my dad, I would say, is one of my mentors. Also Coach Bumpus, my high school coach, and also Coach Thompson, and also Coach Dakota Sinshak. These two were coaches for my 7-on-7. They definitely provide a layer of acceptance and being able to help me out with things maybe I'm not comfortable talking about with my parents or other things like that.
Sure.
But yeah, definitely those three are definitely great mentors and instrumentals of developing into a young man.
Yeah, and I think when you talk about, because we talked about dad and mom, let's talk a little bit about Coach Bumpus and Coach Thompson. Yes, Coach Bumpus is your high school coach, we know that, and position coach. Talk about him, first of all, as a mentor and how he helps you out. In what way?
He definitely helps me out on and off the field. If there's anything off the field he needs to check me on or make sure I'm doing good in school and other things like that, he definitely helps me with that. And then on the field, of course, it's just amazing, the dedication he puts in the film room, being able to have a job at Elite Training Academy, and then being able to still be a great family man, and then coming home to watch film. Sometimes I don't even know how he sleeps, He's like a vampire sometimes. I just don't understand how
he grinds. He's got a constant, it's 24/7 for him.
Sir, definitely.
Yeah, I think part of that also too is understanding Michael Bumpus. He played in the NFL, right?
Sir.
So he had his collegiate days, grind, got to the NFL, and the NFL, it's one of those things where it's, it used to be that sports was just a one season, that was it, you kind of shut it down. Well, no, it's constant training. And so obviously Coach Bumpus has felt that, hey, as an NFL player, now veteran, I had to be on the top of my game or else my spot is being taken.
Yes, sir.
I have to be in the film room, I have to do the little things. That's kind of transitioned over to him as a coach at Monroe, right?
Yes, sir.
Right.
Definitely.
Let's talk about Coach John Thompson, okay? Here at the Elite Training Academy facility. Tell me what he means to you for 7-on-7. We'll just speak it as a coach-wise, or the mentor.
Again, very dedicated to his craft. Great coach. It's always the minor tweaks that really make the big picture. And being able to, and not only on the field, but being able to give good character, being able to have good competition on the field, all those things. Having a family unit at Elite Training Academy for our 7-on-7 team.
Wow.
It really feels like a family unit.
That's nice. So they mean a lot when it comes to, give me maybe one situation, just think of one maybe, take some time, but think of one situation where you were helped by one of those three individuals, your dad, Coach Bumpus, and or Coach Thompson.
Definitely Coach Bumpus. When it came to off the field, in school, it just asking me how's school going, and I say good, coach, this and that. But I feel like I can always rely on him. If there's any questions I have for the future and this and that, I feel like I can always rely on him because he's been in every single level. He's been high school, college, and the NFL.
Right.
And just having any questions I need to ask, he can definitely help me out with that.
Right. So let's talk about student athlete challenges, okay? Trey Lane was an 8th grader, right? At one time you were an 8th grader. You can probably remember like it was yesterday, right? School, small school, I'm sure, right?
Yes, sir.
Did you have lockers or no lockers?
In 8th grade, we had
some do, and that's why I asked that question.
We Cavallero Mid-High School in Lake Stevens. That's where I started. 8th grade, we had lockers in our PE rooms for the gym.
Okay. But you didn't have normal lockers like for your books and all that kind of stuff?
No, sir.
Okay, so that's where we come to your freshman year. Oh my goodness, Trey Lane, freshman year. Man, kind of take me through what that was like.
Man, it was a great experience just because I started from Cavallero Mid-High School in Lake Stevens and then transferred over to Monroe High School for family business.
Right.
But yeah, it was definitely a change to say the least, but being able to adapt to that change for me definitely built my character up. Because orientation I probably made like I knew maybe a couple football players just because we were working with each other during the summer.
Oh, that's nice because you could you could run to them really quick and go, I know you, let's hang out.
Yes, sir.
Right? Yeah.
Definitely. But yeah, just adapting to that change is definitely one thing. Yes, sir.
And you get a locker, is that right? Freshman year, did you get a locker?
It was like sports lockers. So
okay, sports locker. So yeah,
yes, sir.
Probably senior year. I'm thinking. At some point, you'll get a locker with you can put your books and you got your own stuff in there. That's
yes, sir.
Something to look forward to. So as a freshman, was it hard to know? Okay, so you had to know where the cafeteria was, the classrooms. Where's my first class? Was that hard?
Oh, it can be challenging. Yeah, it can be challenging. But going to Cavallero Mid-High School, I feel like it was more complicated then than it was in high school.
Interesting.
Like high school, it was kind of like just like 200s on top, like anything even is on the
'cause
top.
upstairs. Yeah,
Yes, sir.
yeah.
And then anything on the bottom is odd. So I was able to get used to that. It was just knowing the number after that 100 or after that 200, just getting used to those numbers, going to class and things like that.
Yeah, I know. And you had stairs, so for somebody like you, my dad or your dad and me, our age, we don't like stairs. We want elevators if we can get them. But that in itself with stairs and knowing kind of how Cavalier High School, is that what it was?
Yes, sir.
Caballero
sir.
High School was, knowing how that was, you kind of had a nice blueprint to go then now to your freshman year in Monroe.
Yes, sir.
Kind of set up the same way a little bit?
Yes, sir, in a way.
In a way? Okay. Well, so now looking at student athlete challenges, let's take a look at kind of the student side, okay? So remember, student, athlete, student comes first, athlete second.
Yes, sir.
Again, you as a person, but as a student, where does Trey Lane sit in the classroom?
Definitely, I try to sit in the front of the classroom.
Yeah.
And if there's ever seating charts, the teachers have seating charts. I'll probably.
Man, darn seating charts.
Yes, sir. But definitely, anytime I can, I'll be sitting in the front of the class just to stay engaged in what the teachers are saying and make sure I'm paying attention.
That's good. Do you try to let teachers know that you're a student athlete? If you can.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, I mean, sometimes, but mainly I just stick with the student side of it.
Good, okay. And is Trey Lane a good test taker?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay, all right.
Test.
All right. How do you study? What does Trey Lane do to prepare and study?
Oh man, it could be come down flashcards.
Okay.
Just having
Hey, he's mentioning
terms.
tools. I love it. I love it. Yeah.
terms on the front, the definitions
Okay.
on the back, things like that.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Let's get deeper about the student, and the teacher aspect, that relationship. That's a big relationship. The reason why is because you're taking classes. Newsflash, they determine your grade, right? It's based on, there's a lot to be said, to a teacher. Do they know you? Do they feel comfortable with you? There's also personalities, right, of the teacher and the student. But let's look at an aspect of the student. What kind of characteristics in a student is important for the teacher to be successful? What do you think?
Absolutely, being engaged into what the teacher is saying and making sure they're taking good notes, proper notes. Making sure if they have any questions, make sure to ask the teacher. Because some students are sometimes too shy to ask a teacher if they need anything. But definitely being engaged and just asking questions.
Okay, let's reverse that. Okay, what does a teacher? Yeah, we're putting the teachers on notice. What do the teachers need to do in order for what characteristics do they have to have in order for a student to be successful?
Definitely being open and available to questions that the students have. Just being available, because teachers can be busy too, of course, but definitely being available for the student if they do have these questions.
Okay. What do you think we'll take the top 3 that you can think of, okay? Top 3 things that seem to be a student athlete challenge for you when it comes to being a student athlete.
Time management is definitely one. Making sure that you're not, making sure you're not doing something for too long, doing something for too long.
You gotta manage your time.
Yes, sir.
Right? You gotta manage your time.
Time management, making sure balancing out the school aspect and then the sports aspect. Make sure school always comes first and then sports second.
Okay.
And then third.
I'm giving you a third one, man. I'll make it harder on you.
Yes, sir. Third, just staying dedicated.
Yeah.
To your craft, just making sure.
Would dedication go right there with focus?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Staying focused.
Staying focused. Interesting you said time management, because I think what happens is that's the hardest thing for a student athlete, because the time management, man, you guys got time. I mean, you got time to decide on what you want to do. Now, Bill, let's be clear. If you have practice, you have the books, right?
Yes, sir.
But there's that idle time, we call it, that you can decide to do, hey, your peers want to go do this, and let's go do video games, things of that sort, the phone, tablets, screen time. So there's a lot of different avenues you can choose to kind of do your time. So with time management, you feel that's a big student athlete challenge you have to work at every day.
Yes, sir, definitely.
Interesting what follows with that. There's a word that follows up with time management if you don't do it correctly. And it happens sometimes when you don't get things done. It's called procrastination.
Yes, sir.
You procrastinate. Oh, I can put that off. I don't have. My test is not due until next week. It's easy to kind of get caught up in that, and then there's another assignment somebody puts up on you, and then boom, before you know it, the test is coming.
Yes, sir.
Right. So those are aspects. It's a good because a lot of student athletes feel that same way. That those are some of the challenges that they face. Let's talk media. Go ahead and have a drink of body armor there. We're going to talk a little bit about media, Trey, because with media, this is what happens with media. There's more of it. There's different types of media, and it puts you on the spot. Okay. How does Trey Lane handle media?
I mainly use media for, again, football, things like that. Checking out friends' highlight tapes, teammates' highlight tapes, people from other schools, and also making sure I get mine out there. And also use social media to catch up with other football players that are doing their thing, you know.
Training,
Yes,
right?
sir.
Some training, maybe.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Making sure, recording my training sessions.
There you go.
People know I'm putting in work.
There you go.
Yes, sir.
Using social media at its best, right?
Yes, sir.
Do you think social media can be a hard thing for a student athlete?
Yes, sir. It can be at times, you know.
And in what way do you think?
Because it feels like people are always going to be monitoring what you're doing,
Yeah.
you know, on their phones or anything like that.
Right.
I mean, I've heard many situations of people in the draft going from like a fifth pick to like a second round just because of social media. You know, the things they portray online, who they see themselves as online.
Yeah. Or where they put themselves at.
Yes, sir.
Right? You know, back in my day, I won't speak my age, but back in my day, you didn't have the cell phone. The cell phone is a huge instrumental tool that can be taken with you anywhere, capture anything in any moment, anytime. So yeah, that's obviously something that you feel, but you feel media is important though.
Yes, sir.
Be using
Definitely.
it well.
Yes, sir.
Right. Let's talk 7-on-7. We're here at Elite Training Academy. Coach John Thompson and Coach Bumpus. He's a part of the 7-on-7 as well, right?
Yes, sir.
So tell me what 7-on-7 means for Trey Lane.
It's definitely a huge platform when it comes to the gap between the end of fall for football and then going into spring football. Definitely that gap right there can be filled with other sports.
Okay.
But I definitely use 7-on-7 as a platform for that little gap that I have in between fall and the spring.
It's always good to be competitive and still have competition and go against your peers
Yes, sir.
in a competitive level so you don't really lose an edge, right? Is that kind of how you look at it too?
Yes, sir.
I'm going to be frank with you. I mean, I think what happens is a lot of high school athletes feel that, or not athletes, but a lot of high school coaches, they feel that 7-on-7 is a waste of time. They don't believe in it. Convince me and tell me, Trey, why do you think that's maybe a mistake of a thought process in that?
I feel like 7-on-7 definitely helps, definitely more with the wide receivers than maybe other positions like
Skill positions, is
Yes,
that
sir.
one? Yeah.
Yes, sir. Definitely with skill positions, just because it can break down how you see the field, how you see coverages in the defense, and being able to.
What's thrown at you?
Yes, sir. And just being able to bring that into the fall. You know, all the techniques that the coaches teach us. You know, sweeping, ripping, other things like that. Just many techniques. Being able to learn those and then bring that into your fall teams.
And I think the thing is too is that 7-on-7 is now beginning to understand that they're incorporating with the high school coaches. That I think the thing is that what you learn on 7-on-7 is it's an addition
Yes, sir.
to what you learn in high school and what those coaches teach you, right?
Yes, sir.
That's how you view it, right? No, that's good. With Elite Training Academy, the competition level, pretty big, huh?
Oh yes, sir. Definitely. We have I think it's called Competition Friday at ETA. You know, when we'll just have these little mini games. We'll have tug of war and other things
Oh,
like
wow.
that, just to get that competition fire inside of us. You know, so then we can bring it into our games. You know, because competition is definitely one huge factor. It gets us motivated and making sure we light that fire.
And part of it also too is there a mindset? Okay, so there's strength training as well, right? And they're
Yes, sir.
involved. There's obviously some of that to get you bigger, faster, stronger, right?
Yes, sir.
But is there an aspect of the student level too that Elite Training Academy offers?
Definitely, when it comes to students, they definitely teach us good habits for going into the classroom. You know, habits such as
I mean,
having a notepad.
because they have the student athlete in front of them. They're working
sir.
with them on a, within the elite training academy all the time. So right, they're doing that.
Definitely a lot of habits like keep bringing a notepad every single day.
Okay.
Studying your playbook. Same way you can,
Nice.
Bring a notepad in a class and study
Take notes.
notes, and then also study for the test. Bring the review to the test. So yeah, I feel like those can both correspond with each other in ways.
And there's a little bit of, because I think Elite Training Academy goes over some of, because when you guys do play games,
Yes, sir.
there's film, right? There's a film session, you break
yes,
down
sir.
things. So there's a little comprehension level as well that you can kind of, it transcends into the classroom as well, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. So we'll talk Monroe High School. Monroe High School. Is that 3A or 4A?
4A.
4A, okay, it's 4A. With Monroe, 4 and 6 last year, right?
Yes, sir.
There's been some growth that obviously you've lost a lot of seniors when the last couple years, and Coach Bumpus has been there for 5 years, I understand.
Yes,
There's been that level, there's been that thought process of the next man up. Could you say that that's kind of an accurate statement of what Coach Bumpus has been seeing?
Yes, sir, definitely. I mean, going into my freshman year at Monroe High School, I remember I started my last 4 or 5 games going into the playoffs just because of injuries that
Wow.
the seniors dealt with. And just Coach knew I was ready as a freshman, or else he wouldn't put me out there. That's what he would tell me. But definitely it's that next man up, because teams are going to go through injuries. Teams are going to go through adversity.
You gotta be ready.
Yes, sir.
You gotta stay ready.
Yes, sir.
Is there this hits something for me, because is there kind of a good and bad thing with that? Because with you getting the playing time, which is great because you get that exposure so quick and so early,
Yes, sir.
is good. But also there's an aspect of, well, we just lost our best players and we're now trying to win ball games. So I mean,
Yes, sir.
is there kind of that plus and minus factor there?
Yes, sir. Definitely, there can be a plus and minus factor to that.
Yeah. What do you feel, and Coach Bumpus is your position coach as well.
Yes, sir.
What kind of is him as a coach? Because he's kind of, 7-on-7, he's a coach, he's a position coach. How does Coach Bumpus, how is he able to zero in on the position side of what he tries to coach on?
Definitely when we have our film time, they'll have the bigs or the linemen in one room with the lineman coach.
Okay.
And then he'll have all of the skill positions in one room together looking at film.
Okay.
And yeah, he'll nitpick just because no player's perfect, right? There's always something you can improve on every single practice, every single game, There's always, Coach Bump always says, there should be 2 or 3 things you should take from each practice and then put it into the next practice. It's 3
Wow,
things you
that's
should
good.
really focus on.
No standout.
Yes, sir.
Notepad comes with you in the film room?
Say again?
Notepad comes with you in the film room? You bring a notepad with you?
Oh, yes, sir. Always.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Always. I have to, just because it's always about the notes,
Yeah.
and just looking at it when you get home. And even bringing notes going into the film, like watching film that night and then before practice, definitely having those notes down just to let Coach know you're engaged.
Now, we'll talk about your position. As a slot receiver, you've really had to kind of, and I think this transcends a little bit with what Coach John Thompson's working with you at Elite Training Academy, technique.
Yes, sir.
How important is technique to a slot receiver position?
Technique is huge. I mean, it's such a big factor just because, even if you're undersized like I am, some people can just go off a go route and just say, okay, I'm tall, I can just catch a go route every single time. But being able to...
You receivers love those go routes. I got to say, every single showcase I go to, everybody's running go routes. And the coaches are going crazy. They're like, stop running the go route. Run a 5-yard and out or something else, a hitch
Yes,
or
sir.
something.
Yes, sir. That's what the coaches teach us is that technique of running that hitch route, running that 5-yard out, running that 10-yard out, and the ins and outs of the coverages that you can see and being able to base how you can find open space off of those coverages.
Slot receivers are much into blocking downfield.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so do you think that Trey Lane is a good blocker?
Definitely.
If that's something you've been trying to work on?
Yes, sir. Definitely something I should be improving on. I'm definitely gonna work hard this spring and going into the summer on my blocking.
Lay a block, right?
Yes, sir.
Nothing like a good block, especially when they see it in the film room.
Yes,
Because
sir.
they'll point it out, right?
Yes, sir.
So when you look at what Monroe has this year, Tell me what it looks like.
Definitely a lot of seniors this next year. I'm
So
going
you got
into,
that now.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm going to be a junior this next year, and my class is definitely improved from when we were freshmen. A lot of improvement, but definitely a lot more seniors.
That class of 2020 class is big everywhere.
Yes, sir.
It's huge.
Definitely.
19 didn't have too much, but 20 is huge. And 2021, 2022
Yes, sir.
seems to be like the next class coming up. But class of 2020 is huge everywhere. So you have seniors that have been in Monroe. They've kind of been in their positions for quite some time. So you're expecting some big things this year, right?
Yes, sir.
What teams do you play in your conference?
We play, first 3 games we have East Lake, we have Woodinville, and then we have Lake Stevens.
Woodinville and Lake Stevens. Yeah, we remember them from last year outside the games, covering Woodinville. Woodinville beats Skyview. Then Woodinville plays Lake Stevens. They lose, and Lake Stevens plays Union for the title game, okay?
Yes, sir.
What team challenges you the most, do you think, for Monroe? Hard to say.
Yes, sir.
Because
It can be
they're
hard.
they're basically this pretty even, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. What does Trey Lane want to get from his junior year this year as let's just start out with a student first.
Yes, sir. As a student, just making sure I keep my grades up. I'm sitting at a 3.65 GPA right now,
Nice.
and just making sure I improve. I'm always striving for a 4.0.
Teachers, he's looking for extra credit, so do be aware of that. He's going to ask you for extra credit because, again, B to an A. I'm not going to say you have a C, so I'm not going to say that because 3.65 doesn't going to give you a C. But yeah, flipping that one grade to another grade, obviously, yeah, you'll be thinking about that. Let's talk about the aspect. What are you trying to get out of your junior year as an athlete?
As an athlete, definitely just growth and improvement from my game, making sure those little nitpicky things that coach can tell me to do, making sure he doesn't repeat himself. Making sure I get that down right then and there in that next practice.
All right, well, I tell you, we have here Trey Lane, class of 2021, slot receiver, defensive back. He is at Monroe High School. This is a student athlete that's putting in a lot of work in the classroom and off the field and on the field. A lot of work, Trey, been a pleasure to have you on our show and Outside the Games. We appreciate it. But we're not done. We have this thing called the Quick Blitz. We get to know Trey Lane a little bit more personal, okay? Personal.
Sure.
Favorite food?
Pizza.
Pizza. What kind of pizza?
I like the meat lovers pizza.
Oh my gosh, he wants to have the meat lovers pizza. That's everything on there.
Yes, sir.
Favorite dessert?
Cheesecake.
Okay. A lot of people like cheesecake.
Yes, sir. Cheesecake with a strawberry on top.
Oh, okay. Because that's my next question I'll ask. You like naked or not? But they're good.
Yes, sir.
Got to be cold.
Oh, yes, sir.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Have you heard of a bazooki?
Bazooki? No, sir. I haven't heard of that.
Okay, good. All right. It's another time. We'll explain that a little later. Some people have mentioned it's a dessert. Anyway, let's look at favorite shoe to wear.
Love my Kyries.
Kyrie, is that the Kyrie 2?
These are the Kyrie 4s right here, but my favorite shoe is
behind.
probably the Kyrie 2 Christmas.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
all right.
the light blue ones are really nice.
You got me on that, man. I hear Jordans all the time, so yeah.
Yes, sir.
Favorite cleat to wear?
I had the Zeros, Adidas.
Oh, okay. 3-stripe.
Yes, sir.
Hey, not making any qualms about it. 3-stripe. Apple or Android, and why?
Oh man, I've been an Android user for years, but then I recently switched to an Apple.
Wait a second. I'm letting that sink in because everybody that we've interviewed, they can't stand Android. They've gone to an Android, they hate it, and they say Apple's it. But you've had an Android for a long time.
Yes, sir. But when I switched to Apple, I'll be honest, it was less laggy, way better pictures. There's some apps you can get, like you can't even get Fortnite on Android. You can get Fortnite on Apple though.
Wow, this is newsworthy right here. That takes it to a whole nother level. I did not know that. Emojis.
Oh, yes, sir.
They
look way different.
Yeah, they look way different. Yeah, that's a big thing. Favorite musical artist?
Whew, I mean,
I know there's a lot.
A whole bunch. Are you talking now or?
I'm talking right now, presently. If you were to put something in Trey Lane's car, if you have a car, we'll get to that. But if you were to put something in Trey Lane's car, what would be in there?
J. Cole.
Wow. Okay, there we go.
Sir.
If you could choose a car to drive, what kind of car would Trey Lane love to drive, or SUV?
Lamborghini Huracan.
He knew the name. Oh, man. Didn't even keep it a Lamborghini. You just called the kind of Lamborghini.
Yes, sir.
What color?
Oh, I'd probably go, I like the red.
Okay.
I'll go with the
Candy red?
Yes, sir.
Or like a deep burgundy red?
Burgundy would look nice, but I'm thinking that cherry type red.
Okay. All right. Cherry flavor. Lamborghini. Okay. If you had to choose a destination spot anywhere in the world that Trey Lane could go and visit, where would that be?
I mean, I've been learning French this year, so I'm trying to go to the Eiffel Tower down Paris.
Paris. Hey,
sir.
oui, oui. Bonjour. Yeah, okay. All right. We've asked a couple student athletes this. What do you prefer, headphones or earphones? Earbuds.
That's tough because everybody has all the hype over AirPods, but I have to go with my Beats, my headphones.
And what's in those beats playing if you're getting ready for a game? I know you got to get gear
For a game. I'm trying to get hype, so probably that Lil Jon.
Okay.
Probably some Kendrick Lamar in there. J. Cole, of course.
Okay. Got a playlist.
Yes, sir.
You got a playlist. Yeah, that's good. What was the last movie you saw, Trey Lane?
Avengers Endgame.
Woo! 3 hours in the
3
movie
hours.
theater.
Yes, sir.
But you didn't care about having your life back. You were okay with that.
Oh, I made sure that I didn't have anything going for them 3 hours and just making sure I had to go see that movie with
There
my
was no
boys.
soft drink. So you weren't drinking soft drink because you don't want to have to go to a
No,
bathroom
sir.
break. Okay, that's
miss
smart.
it.
Smart. Let's get serious on a couple things, okay? We asked the student athletes this for you. If you were running late somewhere, Trey, and you had to let somebody know, would you call or text and why?
Definitely call, just because I feel like if you text and they don't get it, they just hear a quick boop boop, right? Then they might not hear that, but definitely they'll hear the ringer on the phone. It'll probably know that it means more to them that I'm running late and that I need,
Sure.
it's urgent.
If you had to change one thing in the world today, you had an influence or an impact of something on the world today, what would that one thing be?
Definitely helping with world poverty.
That's a good one.
And making sure to give back to my community. People in need.
I like how you said that because we believe that stronger student athletes make for stronger communities. In what way would you be able to could you think of a way of giving back?
Definitely using my platform as a student athlete to be able to help out in homeless shelters. You know, a couple years back, I remember cooking food and serving food to the homeless.
Oh, that's great.
You know, just making sure.
They have a hot meal, you know?
Yes, sir.
Things that, you know, maybe we sometimes take for granted.
Definitely.
But they don't have a lot of.
Yes, sir.
That's strong. No, that's strong. Well, we have one final question for you. Okay, so we're hoping you get it right, but you're going to be a junior, so I believe and I trust that you'll get this right. What would you prefer? Let's just say you had some cheesecake, okay, but it was spoiled. Or would you rather be on Outside the Games?
Definitely be on Outside the Game.
This guy's got it right. That's right. Trey Lane. Trey Lane, thank you so much. Hey,
Thank you for having me.
it's been a pleasure. And we got to know him as a student athlete. If you haven't, check out Monroe High School. Check out their schedule this year. They were 4-6 last year. Coach Bumpus has obviously got some things that he's working on. They got seniors. So we know heavy class, that 2020 class is here. So they're going to make a little noise in their division. Also, be mindful of also Elite Training Academy is a 707 organization that obviously looks at student athletes, prepares them not only from the training aspect of football and training, getting them ready for their high school season in football or their sport, but also from an aspect of the student athlete, the student side as well. So again, Trey Lane, take care. This has been Kevin from Outside the Games. We thank you for watching. Have a great night.